Welcome, everybody, and today we're looking at the June Privada packs. All right, so starting off with the farm roll, we have a Habano and a Maduro from La Zona. Espinosa always showing support for farm rolled, always providing sticks for the pack. And then we also have a Habano and a Maduro from an undisclosed factory in Nicaragua, potentially different factories in Nicaragua. But what's interesting to me is the sizes. There's a 4x60 and a 6x60. I've always felt as though there is definitely a place for blends that have a lot of filler in them, so the higher ring gauge blends. But the longer and bigger the ring gauge, the more tar that's going to build up as you continue smoking. If you're smoking a 7x60, there's no way that tar isn't going to start building up. So I've always been a fan of the nub size, the firecracker, because what I think it does is that it provides a blend that has a decent amount of that filler with a nice big ring gauge, but it's in a shorter size, so there's less potential for that tar to build up. You also get potentially a draw that's a little bit more open than on a cigar that's longer. So to me, I'm probably going to end up smoking these on the same day, not necessarily for the flavor profiles, but to see how they smoke and to see what that draw and tar buildup is like. I'm happy that both of those sizes are in the farm rolled pack this month because I'm looking forward to trying that out and seeing if there's something to that. All right, so moving on to the Privada pack. The first cigar we have on the list is the Big Bird by Aladino, and it has been aged for 7 months. This is the cigar that I'm the most excited for this month, and it's the one that I'm going to choose to smoke right away, right after I finish filming this. The reason I'm so excited about it is, number one, it's a Honduran Puro from the Iroa family. I'm a huge fan of what Iroa does, and the Corojo Cuban seed that's in this cigar is definitely going to match my palate very well. And like I said, we're talking Honduran Puro from the Iroa family. This is definitely going to be an outstanding cigar. I'm looking forward to smoking it right away. The other reason that I'm looking forward to smoking this cigar is that the double band comes from Sedated Hype. Awesome guy. He's making a lot of the bands that end up being huge hits for the club and for the LCA drops. So that's another reason I'm looking forward to smoking it and why this is my choice for the one that I'm going to smoke right away this month. The only other thing I'm going to mention about the Big Bird is something I picked up on that's in the notes. This is most likely the final cigar in our excursion down the street that some of us grew up on. Now, a few months ago, after the Red Laugh came out, I made a little prediction in my video that the next cigar in that series was going to be the Big Bird, and I was right. So, because I can't just take the win and leave it at that, I'm going to read into this statement completely where he says this is most likely the final cigar, and I'm going to say that it is not the last cigar in the series. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and predict an LCA drop of 2 cigars, Bert and Ernie, coming out sometime next year. That is my prediction. All right, moving on to the Rojas KSG. KSG stands for King of Small Gauges, and this specific blend comes with an Ecuadorian Habano Maduro wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan fillers. Rojas with this exact blend won some awards, so he's made a Lonsdale size for the club. It's got an awesome aroma coming off of it. It's got a closed foot. It's got a twisted cap. This is definitely going to be a huge hit. I've been loving what Rojas has been doing lately. I've got a video out on his Street Taco Barbacoa blend. I was a huge fan of that cigar. The Rojas that was in the club last month was awesome. So I am definitely looking forward to smoking this one as well. And moving on to the Robot Fumador. This is the Robot Fumador by Mr. Robot Cigars. It's been aged for 1 year, has undisclosed wrapper, filler, and binder. This blend is fully undisclosed because the person who put the blend out is a well-known blender with a very famous brand in the industry, and he would like to make sure that he doesn't rest on his laurels. He's putting out this new cigar with a new blend and not saying who he is because he would like to see how this cigar does. I think that's a cool concept, And for that reason, this is the cigar that I'm going to pair with a movie this month. And because this is a robot themed blend that the blender is putting out to see how it does in the world, I gotta go with one of my favorite robot movies, Chappie. I know that this movie doesn't have great reviews. I know that a lot of folks didn't like it, but for me, it's an awesome movie. It's a great story, and it's the same thing. This is a blend that he wants to see how it does in the world. Well, Chappie is a robot that was created and put out in the world to see how he does. And I think it's going to be a good pairing for what looks like, based on the tasting notes, is going to be an absolutely awesome cigar. So those are the 3 cigars for this month. Another great lineup from Privada. For me, I'm looking forward to smoking the Big Bird right away. I'm going to go do that and let you know what I think about it right now. I get a little bit of a citrusy barnyard on the body and a nice dark nuttiness off of the foot. It's got an ideal draw on there. So the first few draws are really nice. I get a nice woodiness, a nice toasted nuttiness, and I also get a hint of a cream. So that's just the first few draws. We'll see how this cigar develops once that tobacco gets nice and warm. All right, so here we are into this first third, and this cigar is burning a little bit unevenly. I might be going too fast on it, so we'll see. I'll slow down and we'll see if that fixes on its own. But the main thing I'm noticing is that this is a really flavorful cigar. I'm getting notes of cedar, I'm getting a toasted nuttiness, white pepper, a citrus, and some berry. On the retrohale, it's got a really nice white pepper. So far so good. It's turning out to be a very nice, very flavorful cigar. All right, so we are into the second third, and as you see, that burn line is evening out just fine. We've got no issues, and the flavor profile continues to develop. I'm starting to pick up a nice vanilla note that wasn't there before, and that's matching up real well with that toasted nuttiness and the apple and citrus along with that wood. On the retrohale, I'm getting that same vanilla along with some white pepper. So I will be back in the final third to give you my final thoughts, and we'll see if that happens before we lose this light. All right, everybody, we are going to call this the start of that final third because I'm running out of daylight, but mostly because in the last quarter inch, this cigar has had an awesome transition. Those vanilla notes transitioned into a nice sweet creaminess. There's a mellow baker spice now, and that wood and white pepper really round everything out. On the retrohale, I'm still getting that nice vanilla and white pepper. This cigar has great construction. It's got an outstanding flavor profile, good transitions, a good long finish. Hats off to Aladino on this one for sure, and I'm glad that we got it in the club. So that is it from me. That is all I have to say today. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate the views, and have a good one.